Well, Pezza, Australia win by 360 runs in the first test match of your summer, my summer, Australia's summer. There's something in this game for everyone. Runs for most guys, wickets for some guys, wickets for almost all guys. Nathan Lyon gets 500. Patriotism roars in all sorts of supremacy. But I'm not happy because I want other things, I think. I want new things. I want a sugar hit for some reason. Some people would say that this team that we've got right now, we being, part of the Australian fan base, the cricket team fan base, this is likely to be the best team that we have in probably, 15 years. But I'm not happy, and you know what? I'm actually never going to be happy. And that level of arrogance means that we can take down the greats in winning the World Cup in India, for instance, just recently. It's that arrogance which I think spurs us on for greater things. But sometimes I just want to suck off the team, and I wonder if the players are ever like, guys, will you ever give us our flowers? Are you ever going to suck me off? Maybe this is the moment, Pezza, when because every single person knows that Australia is going to win this test match. They're going to win the series. They're going to win almost every single session, nay, every single hour. But we want other things for some reason. Why, Sam Perry? Why?
Well described, mate. Radiohead, everything in its place. Everybody's doing what they need to do. Everyone's playing the role they need to play this summer. I think that's modern day Aristotle stuff from you, asking the deeper questions. When will the players get their flowers? When will the players get their suck off? And all I can reply to you with, Higgins, is clearly, the players have you under their thumb if you're asking that question.
Yep.
Because I have seen that advanced in certain quarters, which is a sophisticated save saying fucking the cesspool of online dumb cunts. There goes the video, and I'm sorry, that's me again. Anyway, but I just feel like it's the circle of life. That's Elton John stuff. This is what happens in Australia when we get good. We just get complacent, arrogant, obnoxious. That's our right. And there's certain guys in the Aussie side who have spoken out about their humanitarian causes that they care about, and that means that nothing they achieve will matter. And that's also Australia, the little dark, ugly recesses of our mind that just pop up every so often, every couple of referendums or so, and really fail to advance any kind of generosity to the skill of guys who have achieved things that haven't been achieved in 20 years. Anyway, congratulations, Australia, I guess.
I hate the opening batter. The other guy is writing stuff on his shoes. No runs for Marnus recently. Smith's never been the same since 2019.
Double head for
Travis Head
double
won't
failure.
open the... Yeah, double failure for Head. Doesn't want to open the batting. Mitchell Marsh shouldn't be in the side. I want Cam Green in the side. Alex Carey, I've had enough. No runs in so long. Stark sprays him. Lyon, no. I think there has to be something better. Cummins, Woke, Hazelwood's untouchable, to be fair. Just a big old bush horse. So, all good.
Leave Hazelwood.
So there you go. I've changed the entire team. But, probably the best team in a couple of decades that we're going to have. So enjoy it while it lasts. Let's get into the three things, Pezza.
First thing, Gary's 500. I mean, the numbers get better. Here goes. Turn them over.
Half 1,000. Half of 1,000.
Orgists across the nation and globe have turned over that number and are going to work. Wasp v Spider. Believe me. It doesn't get better than that. I know the graphic on Fox was just fucking 500 fucking me in the face. Bang! And I think even Gilchrist said, what an image. Look at us go. And I tell you what, Illingworth has got to give that. He has got to give that out. Are we serious?
Give us the moment, Richard. Richard.
That decision was worse than Joel Wilson's that day, and we'll come back to that. Beats Ashraf on the inside. We've seen him do that so many times. Cummins only just gets in the review. Let's go from the top. He's the third Aussie to get there. It's easy to forget with Nathan Lyon, who I think to a lot of people these days assumes the role of this kind of hard-working, persistent off-spinner. Let's not forget for a second that the off-break, the core fundamental of his discipline is it's a fucking worldy piece of virtuosity. It's a worldy off break that he's always possessed. This is the guy who was the first to successfully transcend the weight of Shane Warne's shadow at the start of his career, after so many had failed before him, and understandably so. Carrying that burden of the expectation from this country and even inside cricket of what a spin bowler should be is no easy feat, and speaks to a really understated resilience that he has. Taking 500 wickets when Australia is the place where you ply your trade is an incredible feat as well. I think that his 500 poles is more than anything else, though, a monument to not just persistence, but constant improvement. He is a better bowler every single year. He is better now than he has been at any time in his career, Nathan Lyon. And in an age of sports science, Space Jam athletes, like Nathan Lyon peaking at 36 connects us to like the rich historical tapestry of the discipline of spin, where the truth is that you get better as you age. He's at the peak of his powers right now with that nexus of spin, torque, wile, and guile. He could take hundreds more wickets if he stays fit. So absolute hats off to him, not for too long, given the old the salad there, but yeah, that's my tribute to him. It's an amazing achievement for a guy who has had to fight really hard to stick with it.
I mean, I think Steve Roach said it best when he said, "Me think it amazing." Secondly, you are talking about peaking there, and I had some friends got a Dom Dollar down here in Melbourne on the other night, and tell you there's plenty of blokes peaking there as well. Don't worry about that. Thirdly, like it's a great achievement. It's also just these ones.
Yeah,
it's
that's
it's
true.
also
doorknobs. Have you ever turned a doorknob before? Put your fingers over it, wrap the old digits around it, turn the doorknob.
Mate, how do you do it? Just like that, mate. I'm just in celebration of Nathan Lyon's 500th Test wicket. I think the nation just be walking around, just opening doorknobs.
Yeah,
just walking in and out of different rooms, just twisting doorknobs.
Put out your doorknobs.
Different to put out your knobs. That's a separate thing that'll get you in a lot of trouble.
Right, yeah. You don't want to glitch there.
I just couldn't be more frustrated that technology exists in the game. Obviously the game has gone. VAR is ruining football. Cricket for the most part is good, but like technology in sport has just taken the raw emotion out of that. Now we're just looking at like 13, 15 guys on the field looking at a big fucking LED screen, just trying to get 3 reds. Very normal sport, all this, but it's just like I just like that raw emotion. Like he's kicked it off middle for a start. Like surely Nathan Lyon's just walking down there to Richard Illingworth and say, "Mate, Richard, you fucked me there. I mean, you've absolutely turned me over and you've done me there, and you've just gone to work. I mean, you've taken away. I will never get that moment of 1,000 again, Richard." Fair enough as well, but because it's bouncy in Perth. Anyway, I'm just saying, sometimes technology is good. Sometimes it just takes away the raw feeling of sport that should be lived in that moment.
It's just a shit decision. It was out. It was fucking salmon. Anyway.
Yeah, he's kicked it.
Yeah, mate, he's kicked it. Second thing, the win itself. He goes Australia canter today.
Oh yeah.
What are we looking at? You name it. Kawaja made some tough runs. Bison, it's a good number. Next to the old name there. I'm looking at reports in the paper saying, or like online saying, visitors a set world record chase for victory. I'm happy with that. I'm pulling flies off my cheek. I'm exhaling briefly through my nose. Once again, they're 3 for spit. JL's talking about the Freo doctor today. I hadn't caught any of that last couple of days. I wonder whether we've had some epic cricket this year. He goes
yes,
World Test Championship, Border Gavaskar Trophy before that, Ashes away, World Cup away in India. It's pretty much sort of 4 out of the top 5 most difficult things to do in cricket, like challenges. I'm kind of feeling like this home summer is it's kind of like a bit of a holiday, kick up your heels, shut the barbie on, get yourself a beer, whatever, and sort of briefly exhale through your nose as you walk in and out of rooms checking the score in the cricket. Like I'm a lot more up for it than I have been in the past, and I think that's as a result of the difficulty of the year where you're writing the scores, you're writing the sessions, you're writing the mini little contests in the play, you're speaking solemnly and earnestly about it. I've never wanted to exhale more through my life, like through my nose. Hello, how are you, little puss?
I tell you what, that's going to be quite something on the audio. Just
thank God that catwalk pass. I was fucking walking myself verbally into a dead end there.
Just talking about what you want from the summer.
Oh mate, I was drifting off.
You talk about
absolute alleyway stuff for me there. I was waiting for someone to pop out and fucking put me to sleep. No idea where I was going. Fucking catwalks past, puss saves me.
Yeah, but just like in terms of like just the overall team performance, like that's like because so often we just want someone like one of the worldies to do a worldy thing,
Yeah.
Like we just want one of the greats to do just something so memorable. And Dave Warner's 164 is going to be so forgettable because obviously a duck in the second inning, so Mitchell Johnson was right. But like it's just like everyone's chipped in some capacity. Like there's probably 8 guys that have done something 8 out of 10. Kawaja 90, Mitchell Marsh 90 and 60. He gets man of the match, gets the big wicket. Like everyone's just performed really well, and that's not going to put bums in seats. Like I could just a well-oiled machine where really experienced cricketers can just click from winning a 50-over World Cup about 8 minutes ago, being drunk non-stop, and then just turning up at home and just going to work, just going straight back into it. It's just, and that's the problem. That's the problem is that it's a really good team with really experienced cricketers doing really solid things. And I'm so fucking bored of that. Like, just give me a win from the depths of despair. Won't someone score 700 or 400, Won't someone take an 8 for? I'm just, we'll never be happy. And no one will ever give flowers. I don't know, Matt. It's a fucking good team, mate. Everyone knows Australia's going to win this game. I know it's arrogant, but it's just the case. I mean, Pakistan haven't won a game here in 24 years, right? Or more, 27 years or something.
Mate, I got a day off school in year 5 the last time Pakistan beat us here. Seriously, it was year 95, Mr. Maxwell.
Right.
Yeah, all good. Like, I'm just saying, like I remember Mushtaq turning us over going to work at the SCG, Wasp v Spider once again. And that's the last time they beat us here. Anyway, I was 10.
Yeah, well, exactly. So and the Australian team is too good to have suffer a defeat at the hands of what is a Pakistan team that has very good cricketers in it, but just like it's just not going to win here. It's just not,
especially not at Perth.
And so, yeah, exactly.
What do you make of like the Steve Smith dismissal, Joel Wilson, the whole everything around it? Any thoughts?
I feel like it's not far away till Steve Smith gets one of those LBWs and then like lift up his shirt like Mario Balotelli and say, "Why always me?" Because
or
like,
even,
I feel like we're not far away
if
from that.
middle stump was cartwheeling, he'd do that, I reckon.
Yeah, exactly. You're always getting into the mold of like, I don't believe technology with that stuff, or like, how come sometimes it's ours, how come sometimes it's not? It's just arbitrary. Well, it's not arbitrary, is it? I mean, it just feels like it is. I don't know. I mean, my initial takeaway from it is that like when he touched God, when Steve Smith touched God, he wasn't getting out like that, and now he is. So it's like, is that interesting in any way? I mean, like if it's hitting the stumps and you're giving out, well then, I don't know. It just says it's out. So like, am I going to be fucking against God here with this, or against science? I suppose, and I'm more God. It's like, no, ethically it's not out, but he missed it, and the thing that I trust says it's going to hit the thing. It's only going to nick it, but like, okay. I don't know. It's just out, isn't it?
Yeah, the thing that I trust is hitting the thing.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
I
I wonder if it, in a meta way, it does connect with the shit we've been talking about. Like, it's easy to get morally grandstanding about these things when you have nothing riding on the result, knowing that it's that it's already safely in the bag. If Joel Wilson gives Smith out like that in an Ashes game where everything's on the line, and it's kissing the bee's dick of the bail, which more and more seems to be a piece of equipment that doesn't come off. then we're probably going fucking institute. The Joel Wilson Institute struck again. But because there's nothing riding on it, we're like, smudge, carry on, any danger.
That's true.
We'd be shaking our heads like him if it was, and he clearly treats his test matches like that. But I do find the petulance very, very grim, especially for a player who's getting older. I think it's I don't know, like a regrettable revealer of character, but still like numbers next to the name. I just noting Cummins to Bubba Azam. It was good. Unbelievable. I don't know what to say. How many good balls does Pat Cummins bowl? He just bowls so many fucking good balls. I don't know, something to think about. Just from Patreon, your friend Bleasdale wrote in again and said, taxes, auto asphyxiation, masturbation, and a Pakistan run out. The three certainties for my evening.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And I'm also, obviously we are supported by Smith Optics Australia. Actually, we might as well just speak about them now that I've just mentioned the name. But like just with Travis Head now adorning those said shades, and just like getting the big old wraparounds when I was saying Travis Head pick that ball up and just sort of like ping it at the stumps to Marnus, and there's just more and more guys just looking fantastic. I mean, I mentioned it before, but you can get 25% off at smithopticsaustralia.com with the code FAST. So Smith Optics are getting around TGC this summer for these dailies throughout the test match summer. smithopticsaustralia.com. Use the code FAST for 25% off. Now, I understand it is Sunday evening here in Australia. Pez are looking magnificent with those bad boys on right now if you're watching on YouTube here. What was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. I believe you can get it. I believe you can still get your shades if you buy it right now before the end of the weekend. If you go right now, you'll get it before Christmas, which is on obviously next Sunday, so 7 days' time. So hopefully you get it this week if you order right now. Use the code FAST for 25% off. We've been looking after the field collection here at smithopticsaustralia.com. They've got the Wildcat. There's also the Bobcat. There's the Vert. I think I saw Cummins in the Vert today. I think I saw Cummins in the
likes a Vert
style today.
He likes the Vert. I've just put these bad boys on, and firstly, I feel like Emmett Brown, Back to the Future 2, when he's come from the future. Which would be around about now as well, Doc Brown. Respect. But 1 foot on the trophy on Patreon, which is where the chat on Patreon is fast becoming, or already is, the best place for TGC discourse, not to be confused with a Brooklynite speaking about golf courses. But 1 foot on the trophy wrote, "This isn't no cash for comments shit, but geez, the boys look great in those fucking shades. Get in tonight for delivery before Christmas." We don't know who this code is.
Yeah.
Someone might want to get a pair on Gazza, though, as well, because I know he's in the Oakleys. Yeah. We've got permission to speak about this, but I think it's very fair to say that these shades are an evolution on that brand. When
it's a
when
level up.
When you got Camo, the horse, Heady, the bison in these, then it's game set match, isn't it? So 25% off using the code FAST. You got all the Christmas trappings, etc. Speaking of Christmas trappings, he goes on to the third thing. Don't know if we're going to talk about this solemnly or not. I think first comment on it goes to you after some some well-worded tweets well-worded pros on Twitter today on Perth, the game being in Perth. Okay, I don't know if you're happy to lean into this or something. I like what you tweeted. I like how many morons wrote back. What do we think? Where are we at vis-a-vis Perth as a venue? People turning up. You got commentators today bemoaning the lack of crowd. It's been an ongoing source of frustration from all camps, it appears to me. Where are you landing on the vis-a-vis Perth?
My feelings about Perth, generally speaking, it's got a huge role to play in the stability of mankind for a start, but it's also got a really central place in Australian cricket right now. They should have a test match every single summer. They should have a high-profile test match. The stadium itself is absolutely magnificent. If anyone's had the privilege of being there, I include people in Perth in that. But my issue with it is that like just enormous stadia in Australia generally, when we're like, there's just not that many people live here. So like in Perth, I tweeted earlier today, there's 2 million people in Perth. To fill the stadium, you need 3% of the entire population to be at the grounds to fill it. Now, obviously, when footballers played there, or Coldplay play there, or even the State of Origin once in a blue moon, they get big numbers. Those games, those events and things often happen on weekends. They are over about 2 to 3 hours in length, and they are much more sustainable to have in your life, generally speaking. I think the problem with the Perth Test match this time of year, and it's obviously being extremely easy to criticise it if you're from Sydney or Perth, where you get the fucking luxury if you're from Melbourne or Sydney, you get the luxury of saying like, well, why don't you just turn up? Like, I mean, sure, when the game's on in my city, it's Christmas holidays. I don't know what fucking day it is. It just fits in nicely to my rituals of Christmas and time off generally from work. So we have the same conversation with fucking Brisbane when they've had the first test matches the last few years. People are still at work. So when the game starts on a Thursday, day 2, Friday, people are still at work. Then on Saturday in Perth, they're still playing local cricket. So all like your central audience are still playing on day 3 of the test match. So then it's like, okay, well, Sunday, why don't you turn up on Sunday? Who the fuck buys tickets to day 4, even if it's on Sunday? No one does that. And even if you did want to you wake up in the morning and you're fresh, in case you haven't had your Christmas party from work on Friday or you've circuited on Saturday, and you wake up on Sunday morning and I'm in Perth and it's day 4 of the test match, the game's fucking over. You know, Kawaja and Marsh are building a lead of 450 or whatever it was. And okay, then you might get to see Nathan Lyon's 500th wicket. You might have seen Mitch Marsh's 100. If I'm living in a city where that's happening and I'm paying whatever the cost of a ticket is, let's say you pay $100 for a ticket. It's like, am I really doing that for just to see the boys sort of tick it over and then just run through Pakistan? Like, the contest is over. So, like, you know, I don't think any city in Australia would have done any better. And I include Sydney and Melbourne in that. Okay, yes, they have 2.5 times the population, so maybe a few more people would have turned up. But, like, I mean, come on. Like, seriously. Like, if you have work on a Thursday and it's the first test match of the summer, and I worked in a previous job apart from this, am I taking the day off? No, you know what? I'm probably not. And I fucking love it. Like, I've loved this test match. So I don't know. I think the criticism's a bit harsh.
I agree.
And a little bit grandstanding from people that live in bigger cities who get a fucking test match when it's holidays.
I totally agree. I just think you're bang on. Smaller population than big cities, they have a massive stadium. The optic doesn't look good. When you combine that with, as you say, people are at work on days 1 and 2, pre-Christmas. We're not into the rhythm of leisure time. Cricket is a weird game, unlike footy, as you say. It's not appointment viewing, on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They're on weird random days. And because the East Coast establishment cities get the best content, everyone has to fight for the scraps around it. Then you throw in that we're playing weak opposition, which, by the way, is a confection of global cricket, particularly the top 3 nations, who have basically frozen a lot of these countries out of the capacity to play Test cricket. So, we've made our own bed in some respects. And then you sense this pattern at the moment where last year, the Windies got Perth got the Windies test, okay? The West Indies are playing their fucking third 11 because they've figured out that they can't afford to play cricket and the best players play T20 cricket. Before that was COVID. Perth missed an Ashes test, and then they missed an India test as well the year before that. So they've had no good content against the big teams for the last couple of years. Then you throw in the JL Farrago. If you give Perth some good content at a good time, I bet they respond just as any other city would. I think state rivalries can be really funny at times, but when it gets to actual xenophobia, it's really fucking ugly and grim. And you said this at the top of the dailies a couple of days ago, and at the podcast at the start of this week. Like, Perth is a great place, produces great sports people, great sporting action. It's a really special part of the Australian summer aesthetic. I can see why people there feel a little bit disrespected, and I bet that when England and India come out and Perth gets those games, Optus is going to look fucking awesome. I think that a lot of this crowing about Perth people not turning up is way over the top and unfair with the scraps that they've been given.
100%, mate. Couldn't agree more. Before we move on to hashtag AskTGC, I want to just give a shout out. The main podcast, I think, is going to come out tomorrow, so we'll have a bigger chat about world cricket, generally speaking, and of course reviewing this test match in full. That'll come out on all the usual places. But just a quick shout out here for our live show in Sydney, which is the only live show with tickets available. We have very nearly sold out the Enmore. I think we're about 90% capacity, meaning there are only a few tickets left. If you want to come along and watch us live, do our live show. We're in Melbourne this week, which is really, really exciting, playing at the Forum, which is a great venue with Adam Zampa. Simon Kadich is our guest in Sydney. There'll be a link in the description of this video and on the audio, wherever you listen to this. There'll be a link to buy tickets. If you're in Sydney on January 2, Simon Kadich, the Enmore, that's going to be our biggest show we've ever done. Really, really exciting. 1,600 people at the Enmore there. So we are very nearly sold out, and we so want to sell it out. So please do come along and join us for that night. It's going to be fucking amazing. The night before the SCG test. So, yeah.
Hashtag AskTGC, he goes, this comes exclusively from Patreon. Join us, patreon.com/greatcricket to get a part of that chat. I am a human male. Says, what's the more impressive achievement? Gary snagging 500 or Mrs. Goat landing the peak Australian male?
Yeah, that's who's taken the better grab?
Yeah. Emma's just got buckets, when it comes to selecting the male.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolute buckets. Yeah.
Stick the old Duke out. Jack Mitchell says, is the subtext to what's he like as a bloke summer Australian cricketers you'd fuck after the Hoff chat the other day? So because we've coined the summer, it's the what's he like as a bloke summer, given there's no actual kind of rigor around the opposition. Is what we're really saying, who would you, what is it? Australian cricketers you'd fuck.
Are we getting into that sort of category with the team? I mean, it has annoyed me for a period of time that there's no one single in the team, which is another probably a case for Lance Morris on the side. Much too settled, stability off the field, stability of mankind on the field. So I don't think we're leaning into that just yet.
I thought that was a Hoff thing.
It just really struck me with Hoff. I just saw it. He's looking really good.
Fat, Mad and Sad wrote, I'd buy Mitch Marsh a fleshlight. Money on the table, bloke is hot. Maybe Jack Mitchell's right. Because
just ideas for Christmas. These are ideas for Christmas. Yeah.
Turn him over, just wrote in, turn him over, go to work. Liam says, if I said Gary was shit, I'd be a lion. 6 months. 7.
See, this is maybe our Patreon community, and you can join us there, as Pezza mentioned earlier. Maybe that's the only community that's actually celebrating the team, that's sucking off the team, and they're doing that by saying that I'd buy Mitch Marsh a fleshlight.
Yeah.
Hoff is hot.
Yep. Jamie Kappa says, well done to Lyon from a Tiger fan.
Classy.
Very classy. Oh, from a Tiger fan. Yeah, that's very classy. And dermatologists hate me. Just wrote in, babe, who's coming out to play the Aussies this summer? What do you mean the first test's over, babe? That's what he wanted. Dermatologists hate me.
In the category of one weird trick. All right, Pezza. Well, it's been a great week. The Australian summer has started. Christmas is around the corner. People starting their last week of work, I suspect, before some time off. Some well-earned time off. We'll see you guys in Melbourne for the Melbourne show, Sydney, Brisbane and Perth in consecutive days after that into the new year. But we will see you guys on the internet very, very soon. In fact, I suspect it might be tomorrow. See you then.